For millennia, people have been farming on land, but it's really only in the past 40 years that people have started farming in the sea. We don't really eat wild animals on land anymore, in part because we ate them all. And so there's an opportunity to stop that in the ocean before we eat all of them too. However, fish farming is industrializing at an incredible pace. With that come challenges. At the moment, about half of all fish that we eat come from farms. On the surface, that seems like a great statistic, but on diving deeper, you start to see the reality of fish farming. There are problems with pollution, disease, and animal stress. It's not uncommon for entire farms to be lost to an outbreak or contaminant. Compounding the problem is what farmers use to keep these fish healthy. Medicine and feed are both expensive and resource intense. When farmed fish die, all of this goes down the drain, or rather, into the ocean, which is even worse. Aquaculture is at the moment a $180 billion market, and in the next 10 years, that will be closer to $300 billion. Almost half of the costs and resources that go into fish farming are related to fish food. And so if you want to start making farming better, you've got to start with better feed. Unfortunately, farmed fish simply can't eat like wild fish, and so we must maximize the nutritional quality of marine ingredients these fish do eat. Things like omega-3s, vitamins, and minerals. They're incredibly expensive and inefficiently used. Biofin will make existing nature-based solutions better. We've developed a specialized method that protects marine ingredients and amplifies their effects. With our technology, we can increase absorption and bioavailability of nutrients and medicines, improve their health and nutritional benefit, and reduce the amount needed. And we can make many of these improvements tenfold. We're encapsulating our ingredients in 100% biodegradable, generally recognized as safe ingredients. Many of these, in fact, come from the marine environment themselves. This system of encapsulation reduces pollution in 3 ways. Number 1, the encapsulation protects the ingredients as they're integrated into the feed and before they leak out into the water. Number 2, it enables better absorption and bioavailability in the fish, so less nutrient waste is passed through the fish and excreted into the environment. And number 3, it keeps these fish from dying. And as a result, you have lower mortality and less mortality-associated pollution in the marine environment. I'm a medical doctor and environmental scientist. My 2 co-founders are a molecular biologist and a materials engineer. We're approaching this from the world of human biomedicine, where the science is cutting edge, but it's very locked up in expensive research facilities. We're opening that up and making it available to the world of fish farming. Biofin products have direct benefits for everyone along the aquaculture value chain. By upgrading the feed technology, we're upgrading the industry and ultimately the quality of fish. In August of 2020, $630 million worth of salmon farming permits were sold in Norway alone. There are many new solutions in the marine space, and we can work with most of them. New ingredient companies, analytics, entirely new types of facilities and farming. Our technology adds value across this ecosystem. Biofin-fed fish are guaranteed to consumers that they'll be getting the most omega-rich, nutrient-packed, environmentally friendly fish on the market.
We're now joined by the CEO of Biofin, Timmy Boulay. Hi, Timmy.
Hey, Julie. Thanks for having me.
Now, it seems from the film that Biofin's technology is one that will benefit all players in this space, the consumers, the farmers, and the feed producers. But there are many people who are working in this aqua tech space. So can we start by talking about how Biofin differentiates itself from others in the aqua tech space?
Yeah, well, that's a really great question. What differentiates us is that we can operate at scale without the typical infrastructure constraints associated with a billion-dollar business. Our technology is tiny. We're literally operating at the nano to micro level. You only need 1 kilogram of Biofin product to integrate into 1 metric ton of feed. That's a ratio of 1 to 1,000. Because there's already been so much money invested in this technology in biomedicine as well, we can replicate it at very low cost while preserving the effect and translating the impact.
What is your first product, and how has customer discovery guided that decision?
Yeah, that's a great question as well.
So our first product will be a fine, an encapsulated ingredient. Without going into too many details, we'll say that we are encapsulating several. Each are high value ingredients that have immediate benefits to fish health as well as human health. One of these ingredients is omega-3s. Everyone knows this is why people eat fish, right? But what people don't realize is that there's a very complicated environmental narrative associated with procuring them. Many of them come from wild-caught fish, and so there's a real environmental cost to their use. But there are other ways of producing these and procuring these that don't require fish, and we want to optimize the use of these, thus guaranteeing nutrient content in fish and, of course, sustainability in the environment.
Now, what is the timeline for the production of your first product, and how do regulations come into play? I imagine there's a certain regulatory path you have to follow with this product.
Yeah, absolutely. We're a feed technology just like many others out there, and so we need to pay careful attention to that, right? So we're in the lab now, and we're moving into live animal testing this fall. Our biggest hurdles are indeed the regulatory barriers, and we estimate that it'll take us 18 to 24 months to overcome these. That being said, we have shortcuts to revenues, so investors in the audience get in touch, and we'll tell you our secrets.
And you mentioned that you're in the lab. Can you describe what your most significant technical milestone has been during the IndieBio program?
Yeah, well, we really achieved so much. IndieBio has been tremendous for us, so a huge shout out to all of you. Thank you for the 4 or 5 months of support. Really appreciate it. There are two sort of standout sort of metrics of performance that we've had over these past months. One is that we have scaled the developments of our fines and demonstrated therapeutic effect of our technology in cell lines. So we know this technology works. And two, we have successfully integrated our fines, these enhanced ingredients, into a feed pellet, which is really a non-trivial step. So feed is produced under high temperatures and pressures, and so whatever goes in needs to be able to withstand these stresses. And we believe we figured it out. We intend to be the company that bridges the divide between the latest in Silicon Valley and Cambridge-funded biotechnology with sustainable aquaculture.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Timmy, for taking the time to answer these questions today.
Thanks so much, Julie.